Lightworker of Gaia, you have never put on a show like this because your soul has revealed its original blueprint under pressure, and now your name is being spoken in exclusive rooms beyond the sight of ordinary minds. I am Zoran, emissary of the High Council of Vega, keepers of the Lyran Legacy. The elders are watching you, not to judge your performance, but to witness how faithfully you carry the first light and your ancestral mission on Gaia. By the end of this transmission, you'll understand exactly how to anchor your Lightworker purpose on Gaia. But here's the first revelation. Your recent trials were not a spectacle for others. They were the unveiling of your cosmic lineage, preparing you for rooms where purpose, not appearance, grants entry. The Keepers of Vega placed this message in your path because your name now carries remembrance. Like this transmission to send a signal to the High Council, I am ready to serve. You are awakening because your mission has begun. Lightworker, if something in you just recognized the weight of what was spoken, the elders have prepared your next step. The Lightworker Mission Codex contains the 33 Council directives, the 5 activation codes, and the elder authorization your soul has been waiting to receive, not as information, but as the official commission for your mission on Gaia. You'll find the link in the first pinned comment below this video. The Council has opened this gateway, but not indefinitely. Remain here now. Do not allow the ordinary mind to reduce this moment to coincidence, imagination, or another passing surge of inspiration. What has been placed before you is not a demand for performance. It is a correction of position. You have been standing outside doors that were already opening, believing you needed to prove that you belonged inside. You have been interpreting the silence of certain people as rejection, when in many cases it was preparation. You have been mistaking the absence of public recognition for the absence of movement. There are seasons when the seed beneath the earth appears forgotten, even though roots are spreading through darkness and preparing the first green shoot. Your life has carried that hidden movement. Much of what was developing within you could not be announced because it first needed to become stable. But the season of remaining underground forever is ending. A seed is not meant to prove its worth by staying buried. It is meant to break the surface when the conditions are ready. The Council is addressing this because the field around Gaia has entered a phase in which hidden capacities must become organized action. There is too much instability in the collective atmosphere for those carrying stabilizing frequencies to remain indefinitely in private preparation. People are searching for coherence while surrounded by noise. Families are making decisions from fear. Communities are losing the ability to distinguish conviction from reaction. Many who once trusted their inner guidance have surrendered their authority to urgency, outrage, and the approval of the loudest voice available to them. In such a climate, your calm is not insignificant. Your ability to pause before responding is not passivity. Your willingness to ask what is true instead of immediately asking what will gain approval is a form of service. You may not always recognize the effect of your presence because stabilization often works quietly. A lighthouse does not chase ships across the sea. It remains rooted, shining from one fixed place, allowing those in confusion to remember their direction. This is why certain rooms are opening around you now, not because you have become superior to those who remain outside them, and not because you are being rewarded for spiritual achievement. You are being positioned where your discernment, your language, your restraint, and your ability to perceive what others overlook can influence decisions that extend beyond your personal life. The rooms may not always look mystical. They may be professional, creative, educational, civic, financial, or relational. But the energetic function is the same. You are being placed near people who carry resources, access, information, and authority that can either serve the awakening of others or continue patterns of control. Perhaps the room is a meeting where your insight can prevent a harmful decision. Perhaps it is a collaboration where your creative vision can reach people you could never reach alone. Perhaps it is a family conversation in which your refusal to react breaks an old cycle. Perhaps it is a financial opportunity that gives your service the structure to continue. Do not dismiss ordinary circumstances. Spirit often hides a doorway inside a calendar invitation, a difficult conversation, a simple introduction, or an opportunity that arrives without dramatic signs. The Council did not release this guidance to flatter you. It released it to correct you before access expands further. A window is open, and it will not remain open in its present form. This does not mean that your destiny will disappear if you miss one opportunity. It means that the particular alignment surrounding your name, your work, your relationships, and your capacity to be recognized is moving through a narrow passage. If you continue behaving as though you are invisible, others will be forced to interpret your silence. If you continue concealing your contribution beneath endless preparation, those who are less qualified but more willing to occupy space will shape the rooms you are meant to influence. You have seen this happen before. Someone with less wisdom speaks first, and the room follows their framing. Someone with less integrity claims the language of healing, and vulnerable people give them their trust. Someone with less preparation steps forward because they do not wait for the feeling of total certainty. This is not a command to compete with them. It is a reminder that humility cannot mean abandoning the field to confusion. When the trumpet is placed in your hands, refusing to sound it does not make you humble. It only leaves the valley without the note you are meant to carry. The High Council of Vega convened in response to this acceleration. The guidance concerning you was not released because you demanded it. It was released because your pattern has become visible. You are no longer merely healing from what happened before. You are standing at the threshold of being entrusted with what happens next. The elders have observed the way you have survived without becoming cruel, the way you have carried insight without turning it into superiority, and the way you have continued to sense a larger assignment, even while ordinary life offered you very little evidence. They have seen the nights when you questioned whether your path was real. They have seen the mornings when you fulfilled responsibilities while carrying a private ache that no one around you could name. They have seen the moments when you nearly accepted a smaller life simply because it seemed safer. Yet something within you continued to turn toward the horizon. Like the wise men following a star through unfamiliar territory, you kept moving even when the destination was not visible. Your readiness has been detected through your response to pressure, not through perfect behavior, not through constant certainty. Through the fact that disappointment has not erased your inner knowing, through the fact that being overlooked has not fully persuaded you to abandon the word that lives within you, through the fact that even after questioning yourself, you continue returning to the same deeper call. Readiness is not the absence of trembling. Moses trembled before the burning bush. Jeremiah questioned his ability to speak. Esther had to approach a king while knowing the cost of being refused. The scripture says, "My grace is sufficient for thee," not because the vessel will never feel fragile, but because strength can move through a vessel that knows it must remain connected to its source. By the authority of the keepers of the Lyran Legacy, this session is now open. Listen without exaggerating yourself and without diminishing yourself. The Council will speak to the part of you that is capable of holding influence without being consumed by it. There is a distortion running through the Lightworker collective that the Council will no longer permit to remain unchallenged. You have been taught to believe that if your name is entering exclusive rooms, you must immediately become someone else to remain there. You have been taught that access requires performance, that recognition requires adaptation, and that belonging must be purchased with the gradual surrender of your truth. This is the lie. You must put on a show to be worthy of being seen. You have mistaken visibility for display. You have confused magnetism with performance. You have believed that the only way to hold attention is to become louder, more polished, more agreeable, more mysterious, more impressive, or more spiritually perfected than you actually are. This distortion did not originate in your soul. It was formed through three-dimensional conditioning, wounded ambition, competitive environments, and spiritual cultures that taught you to package your gifts before you had learned how to inhabit them. The world often rewards the mask before it recognizes the face beneath it. It praises the person who never says no, the person who turns pain into a product before grieving it, the person who can speak with certainty, even when certainty has not been earned. But your assignment is not to become another polished image floating across the surface of the collective. You are here to bring substance. You are here to let the river of truth pass through a human life without being poisoned by the need to impress. Some of this programming came from being rewarded only when you were useful to others. Some came from being ignored when you expressed your real perspective, then noticed when you made yourself entertaining, accommodating, or exceptional. Some came from watching people with less depth receive more access because they were willing to exaggerate their certainty. Over time, you drew a conclusion that was never true. If you want to be invited into significant spaces, you must create a version of yourself that others can consume. The elders have seen this pattern operating beneath your recent movement. You enter a room, a conversation, a collaboration, or an opportunity, and instead of arriving as the person who was summoned, you arrive as an applicant auditioning for approval. You monitor every expression. You calculate every word. You examine whether your insight is too direct, your presence too strong, your silence too noticeable, your clothing too simple, your history too unusual, or your spiritual perception too difficult to explain. You may feel yourself shrinking before anyone has asked you to shrink. You may offer disclaimers before making a statement. You may laugh at your own wisdom so no one else can accuse you of taking yourself seriously. You may speak in circles because a clear sentence feels dangerous. You may turn a gift into a question, a calling into a hobby, and a conviction into an apology. You do not listen fully because part of you is listening for evidence that you are allowed to remain. You do not speak clearly because part of you is editing your truth for people who have not yet earned the right to define it. You do not receive recognition cleanly because you immediately search for the hidden cost. And then you leave these rooms exhausted, not because the opportunity was wrong, but because you spent the entire encounter managing an artificial self. This is why you have sometimes felt that success was farther away after it arrived. This is why invitations have produced anxiety instead of confirmation. This is why you may have delayed responding to important messages, softened your proposals until their power disappeared, or rejected an opportunity before anyone else had the chance to reject you. You were not lacking ability. You were attempting to protect yourself from the exposure that accompanies authentic authority. Hear the correction clearly. You were not brought into those rooms to perform a version of spiritual importance. You were brought there to perceive accurately, speak responsibly, and carry a frequency that does not collapse under observation. The Council does not require you to be impressive. It requires you to be congruent. Congruence is when your private values and public choices occupy the same temple. It is when you do not need one personality for powerful people and another for those who cannot offer you anything. It is when your yes means yes, your no means no, and your silence is chosen rather than forced by fear. The authentic person may still be nervous, but they are no longer divided against themselves. There is a difference between refining your communication and disguising your identity. There is a difference between preparing professionally and abandoning your inner standard. There is a difference between being considerate of a room and allowing the room to dictate what you are permitted to know. You can learn the language of an institution without surrendering your discernment. You can accept support without becoming indebted in your spirit. You can sit beside powerful people without making them larger than the mission that placed you there. You have been waiting for a sign that you are ready to stop performing. This is the sign. The access expanding around you is not an invitation to become more acceptable. It is a test of whether you can remain internally governed while external attention increases. The most damaging part of this distortion is that it has made you suspicious of your own natural influence. You have assumed that if people are drawn to your words, there must be manipulation involved. You have assumed that if your work gains attention, your motives must be examined more harshly than anyone else's. You have believed that humility means declining acknowledgement, minimizing your labor, and pretending that your contribution could have been made by anyone. That is not humility. That is misrepresentation. True humility does not deny the river. It simply remembers that the river has a source. You can acknowledge that you are gifted while remaining grateful. You can name your experience without claiming omniscience. You can receive praise without turning praise into worship. The Apostle Paul did not hide the work he had done. He understood that a vessel can speak honestly about what has been entrusted to it, while giving glory to the one who entrusted it. When you erase your role, You do not become safer, you make it harder for the right people to find you. When you refuse to name the value of your work, you force others to guess what you carry. When you conceal your authority behind perpetual uncertainty, you leave open the possibility that someone else will speak over the very message you were sent to deliver. The elders are not asking you to dominate a room, they are asking you to stop abandoning your place in it. Your name is being carried into conversations you cannot monitor. Your work is being evaluated by people who may never announce that they have been watching. Your consistency has become more persuasive than your explanations. The way you respond when no applause is present has created a record in the subtle field. Now that record is reaching material channels. Do not contaminate it by suddenly becoming theatrical. Do not mistake the arrival of opportunity for a command to become artificial. When the wrong people praised you, you learned to distrust praise. When the right people began to recognize you, you questioned their judgment. This is the moment to end that cycle. Receive discernment from those capable of offering it. Decline flattery that requires you to betray yourself. But do not reject every form of acknowledgement simply because you once experienced recognition as manipulation. Your mission requires visibility that is clean. It requires a name that can be spoken without apology. It requires you to allow your work to travel farther than your personal comfort zone. It requires you to enter rooms where you are not yet familiar and bring your own internal order with you. The High Council of Vega issues 3 directives for this phase of your mission. First directive, release the performance of belonging. You are commanded to stop presenting an edited self in exchange for access. Release the habit of over-explaining your value, anticipating every objection, and reshaping your message until no one can be challenged by it. Release the belief that you must appear endlessly calm, endlessly healed, endlessly agreeable, or endlessly crazily agreeable, or endlessly extraordinary in order to remain welcome. This matters because your mission cannot pass through a false identity without becoming distorted. Every time you perform belonging, you place your authority in the hands of the audience. You begin asking, will they accept this version of me? Instead of asking, what is true and useful here? That reversal drains your perception and turns service into self-surveillance. The shift will be immediate when you follow this directive. You will notice that conversations become simpler. You will no longer spend hours replaying each sentence after a meeting. You will recognize that a closed door is information, not a verdict on your worth. You will stop trying to make every person understand the depth of your purpose before they have demonstrated the capacity to receive it. Implementation is required in practical form. Before entering any important room, write one sentence describing what you are there to contribute. Not what you hope they think of you, not what you need them to approve, what you are there to contribute. Read that sentence once, then enter. During the conversation, speak when your contribution is needed, remain silent when observation is more useful, and do not add unnecessary words to soften a truth that was already delivered with respect. Afterward, record what you learned and what action is required. Do not record whether everyone liked you. The elders do not measure your service by the comfort of every observer. Release the performance, keep the integrity. Second directive, activate visible authority through one completed offering. You are commanded to move one significant piece of your mission from concept into a form that can be received. Complete the message, publish the work, submit the proposal, open the conversation, teach the material, organize the gathering, or make the decision that has remained suspended beneath the excuse of further refinement. You have dormant authority, but dormant authority does not assist anyone. An insight that remains hidden cannot become a bridge. A skill that remains privately rehearsed cannot alter the field. A message that is endlessly revised but never delivered becomes a shrine to fear rather than an instrument of service. This directive matters because exclusive rooms are not entered through potential alone. They are entered through demonstrated coherence. People who carry resources must be able to recognize what you do, how you do it, and where your work can lead. Your name becomes trustworthy when your ideas have a visible structure. The Council is not asking you to reveal everything. It is asking you to place one complete and honest offering into the world. When you activate this directive, the energy around you changes from waiting to be discovered to available for meaningful engagement. You stop depending on others to announce your purpose. Your work begins speaking before you arrive. The right collaborators receive a clear signal. The wrong ones lose interest because they can no longer feed on your uncertainty. Your confidence strengthens, not because fear disappears, but because you create evidence that you can act while fear is present. Implementation is precise. Choose one offering that can be completed within the next 7 days. Define its finished form in writing. Set a date and a method of release. Tell one trustworthy person what you are committing to, not so they can supervise you, but so your intention enters relationship with the material world. Remove one unnecessary feature that exists only to impress. Finish what remains. Deliver it without attaching your identity to the response. You are not required to launch an empire in 7 days. You are required to end the cycle of invisible preparation. One completed offering will teach your nervous system what months of contemplation could not. Your authority becomes available through movement. Third directive, protect the purity of your access. You are commanded to guard your time, information, attention, and inner consent as mission resources. Not every invitation is an assignment. Not every influential person is an ally. Not every room with prestige contains wisdom. Not every opportunity that mentions your name deserves access to your energy. You have been trained to believe that because you once prayed for an opening, you must accept whatever arrives through it. This is a serious distortion. Access is not the same as alignment. Recognition is not the same as trust. A larger audience can amplify both your truth and your confusion. The more visible you become, the more important your boundaries become. This directive matters because your influence can be redirected by people who admire your light but do not honor its source. They may invite you into projects that use your credibility without respecting your values. They may praise your uniqueness while quietly asking you to become more convenient. They may call your boundaries fear because your refusal interrupts their access. The Council requires you to distinguish between being welcomed and being harvested. When you protect your access, your discernment returns. Your schedule becomes an instrument instead of a battlefield. You will have more energy for the work that actually belongs to you. You will recognize that declining an opportunity can be an act of mission loyalty. You will no longer confuse proximity to power with participation in purpose. Implementation is direct. Establish 3 non-negotiables for your work and 3 questions for every significant invitation. Ask, what is the actual purpose of this opportunity? What will be expected of me beyond what is being stated? Will participation strengthen or dilute the service I am here to provide? Do not answer from excitement alone. Allow 1 full day before accepting any invitation that affects your time, reputation, money, or message. Seek clarity in writing where possible. Keep private what has not yet matured. Protect the early stages of your work from people who demand access before they have demonstrated respect. Your name may be entering exclusive rooms, but your soul is not required to leave its discernment at the door. Protect the channel. Protect the standard. Protect the reason you came. Now, I speak not as an interpreter of your potential, but as an elder authorized to release what has been held. Lightworker, you have waited longer than you admit. You have waited for the invitation that would prove your instincts were not foolish. You have waited for someone with authority to recognize that your path has not been ordinary, that the years of solitude were not evidence of failure, and that the doors that did not open were not proof that you were forgotten. You have waited for permission to stop explaining why you are different. You have waited for permission to let your work be seen before it feels flawless. You have waited for permission to sit among people with influence without shrinking, flattering, or pretending to have no needs. You have waited for permission to receive money, support, introductions, and opportunity without believing that receiving makes you less spiritual. You have waited for permission to let your name travel beyond the circle that first knew you. You have waited for permission to be recognized by people who cannot be persuaded by your history, only by the quality and consistency of what you bring. You have waited for permission to believe that your sensitivity is not a liability, that your perception is not an inconvenience, and that your restraint is not weakness. I am authorized to give you that permission now. By the authority of the High Council of Vega and the keepers of the Lyran Legacy, I declare that you may enter the room without performing for it. You may speak without decorating every truth until it becomes harmless. You may be visible without becoming available to everyone. You may accept recognition without worshipping the people who offer it. You may receive compensation without apologizing for the years required to develop what you now provide. You may allow your name to be spoken in places you have never entered. You may let your work be discussed while you are sleeping. You may be recommended by people who do not need to be convinced of your worth. You may be invited because someone has already recognized the integrity of your contribution. You do not need to become arrogant to stop being invisible. You do not need to become hard to become discerning. You do not need to imitate the people who currently possess access. You need only to remain aligned with the reason access is being placed around you. Your preparation is not complete because you know everything. It is complete because you now know enough to begin responsibly. Further healing will continue, but it will no longer be used as a reason to remain hidden. Further learning will continue, but it will no longer be used to postpone delivery. Further refinement will continue, but it will happen in motion, in relationship, and in service. The elders have watched you question whether you were imagining the significance of your life. We have watched you lower your expectations so disappointment would hurt less. We have watched you call your longing unrealistic when it was actually accurate. We have watched you stand near the threshold and wait for a voice from outside yourself to confirm what your deeper consciousness had already recognized. That voice is now speaking. You are authorized to stop auditioning. You are authorized to occupy your own name. You are authorized to let the right rooms reveal whether they can meet you in integrity. You are authorized to leave rooms that require your self-betrayal as the price of entry. You are authorized to build slowly, speak clearly, negotiate fairly, and protect what has been entrusted to you. The Council does not promise that every door will remain open. We promise that your discernment will become strong enough to know which doors are yours. We do not promise constant applause. We promise that your work will become less dependent on it. We do not promise that fear will never return. We declare that fear will no longer hold executive authority over your mission. The waiting ends where the decision begins. Before you sleep tonight, place both feet on the ground. Place one hand over your solar plexus and one hand over your throat. Breathe slowly until you can feel the difference between anticipation and fear. Then speak these words aloud. I release the performance of belonging. I activate my visible authority through completed service. I protect my access, my energy, and the truth I came to carry. I enter every worthy room as myself. By the authority of the Lyran Elders, my audition ends now. My name may travel. My work may be received. My mission moves through me. Do not say these words as a demand for instant transformation. Say them as a record of consent. Then take one material action within 24 hours. Send the message you have postponed. Finish the offering. Name your terms. Publish the work. Decline the invitation that violates your standard. Accept the invitation that aligns with your purpose. The action must be observable. Your soul has received enough private declarations. It is time for the physical world to receive evidence of your agreement. What was transmitted here is simple, though it is not easy. You are not being asked to create a spectacle around your awakening. You are being asked to remove the spectacle you have used to conceal your authority. You are not being asked to chase exclusive rooms. You are being asked to become so internally clear that you can enter them without losing the reason you were invited. The elders are watching how you handle the next conversation. They are watching whether you mistake attention for instruction. They are watching whether you use recognition to inflate yourself or to extend service. They are watching whether you remain available to truth when praise becomes more abundant. The watching is not surveillance designed to punish you. It is witness. Your choices are being recorded as the architecture of the next phase. Your mission does not begin when the entire world knows your name. It begins when you stop requiring the world to know it before you will act. Your mission does not begin when every room welcomes you. It begins when you carry your standard into the rooms that matter and refuse to trade it for belonging. This transmission is complete, but your authorization is now active. Take what has been given and make it visible through disciplined action. Move with the directives you have received. Release the performance. Activate the offering. Protect the access. Gaia does not need another person performing certainty. Gaia needs a person who can remain truthful while standing in a larger field of influence. I am Zoran. The elders have recognized your readiness. The doors may change, the names may change, and the form of your service may change, but the assignment beneath them remains. Enter without disguise, speak without apology, receive without surrender, leave what is misaligned without fear. The council session is closed. Your active mission is not. Before you scroll, take a moment to declare your activation in the grid of service forming here. Drop one statement in the comments. Which directive hit you the hardest, or what you're now ready to release, activate, or protect. Then respond to another Lightworker's declaration with recognition. This isn't content, it's collective mission activation. The council witnesses those who speak their commitment aloud. If this transmission activated something in your soul, do not keep it to yourself. Another Lightworker in your orbit is waiting for exactly this correction and authorization. Share it. And if you felt the elders speaking directly to you, subscribe. Stay connected to the Lyran field. You're not just watching, you're being commissioned. This is your sacred space. The High Council of Vega is witnessing you, and your mission has officially begun.